Hey guys, welcome back to the 411 on Tech, and today we're going to be talking about Pinball Emporium. We finally got that on there. We're going to go over some tips and tricks, some issues we ran into, and we're going to get into it right after this. Okay guys, for the download location, installation, and setup, we're going to link down below to Nate Mack's YouTube video. He's creator of this. And it's really an easy video to follow along. He goes through step by step, you know, depending on the amount of screens you have. Really simple, really detailed, you know, easy to follow. So we're going to link that down below. Alright, so for our overall experience, you know, following that video, you know, step by step, you know, we have 3 screens. We end up getting like an IPS, like I think an 8-inch like third display for the DMD.
Yeah, it's like a 1280 by 800 resolution, which is still more than enough.
Yeah, and that size, like the pixel density is really high, so the image looks super sharp. It looks real. That's
for our DMD.
Yeah, for the DMD, it looks really nice. And just following the video, like how many displays you have, you know, and then it just installs everything.
Yeah, it was super easy, and we initially, like, it was such a daunting task at the beginning. And kind of why it took us so long to get going with this, because at first we thought, okay, well, we want Future Pinball, we want Visual Pinball, we gotta, you know, download, install them both. There's a bunch of
configuration.
There's a bunch of front end and back end applications and stuff you have to run. You have to find your tables, source
backglass, yeah.
So it was really a lot of steps, a lot of things you would have to do to get everything up and running. But then you ran into this Pinball Emporium.
Yeah, I'm on like the Discord for the Virtual Pinball Club, and you know, I had a section for that, and I was like, oh, what is that? And then you know, I have an AtGames section there, and you know, it really helps speed up the process. You know, we're like strapped for time most of the time, so you know, we didn't have a lot of time to get that up and going. Now we do like want to dig in and understand how everything works.
Yeah.
You know, so because that'll help with troubleshooting.
Yeah, little configuration things are like one of the things I noticed is like I want to see if there's a setting to hear like the ball rolling around the like play field and stuff as you're playing, like the tables and stuff. Like that would be nice. You know, just little things like that we can like more dial in. But yeah, like you said, like the setup, like going through his video and then like his whole script was like step by step by step. It was super easy, guys. So if you're, you know, kind of, you know, it's daunting for you as well, like this was super easy. Like I think anybody can do this. You know, just, you know, follow through as he's going through it and you'll have no problem. And so once we got it all set up, it was great. Like everything is just there for you. It's all set up again. You know, you just launch Pinball Emporium. You have everything, you know, all your menus for the different pinball tables and applications and stuff, and it's super smooth. So we did run into like some issues here or there, and just wanted to share some like tips and tricks for you guys, you know, in case you run into them as well. The first thing kind of was like part of the setup script is the display setup. So, you know, how many displays are you going to be using? You'll plug in your resolution, stuff like that. And then they'll kind of walk you through like how to also have things set up in your Windows display settings. So, you know, you want your playfield, backglass, and DMD if you have that in that order. And one thing that we kind of ran into is when we were starting to play, like our DMD was kind of cut off a little bit. Now, again, our resolution for the DMD is lower. It was the 1280 by 800. So when you're in display settings, that display box looks a little smaller, and I didn't think it made that big of a deal, but it did. You really need to have them lined up at the top, so they all need to be lined up. We kind of had it where it was like kind of like lower a little bit, and that's why it was cut off.
Yeah, it was cutting off the top of the image for the DMD.
Yeah, so if you're having issues when you start off, it looks like it's cut off, again, go back into your Windows display, make sure everything is like lined up at the top, all those little display windows. And making sure, and it tells you in the script as well, make sure everything is 100% scaling and all that, like your resolution is 1920 by 1080 if that's the resolution that you have for your displays, and that should work smoothly once you do that. Now there was also a test for backglass, like testing the backglass, making sure that is lined up right and everything in your backglass display. When I first ran through it, it didn't, like, nothing displayed in the backglass. And I'm like, oh, is this gonna, you know, is this working right or whatever? And so I just decided, okay, well, let me exit out, launch things, and see how they went. So I did, and like, I had backglasses. The first tables I loaded up, they were fine. So, you know, don't be too concerned if you don't see anything when you do that backglass test. Later on, we did run through the display setup again because things got a little
out of sorts.
Yeah, because we're on the AtGames Pinball. So make sure you have your pinball ready to go before you turn on your computer. I think we turn on the computer and then turn stuff off, so it doesn't initially detect your backglass.
You turn stuff on.
Yeah, the pinball, make sure those displays are up and running, everything is running before you turn on the computer, because that kind of threw up the displays a little bit, and then that's why we had to go through the display setup again. So when we ran through that display setup again and we did the backglass test, everything worked fine. The backglass actually displayed. So you may or may not have issues with that, but if you don't see anything, it should be fine. Just when you know, after you're done, exit out of the setup, go into Pinball Emporium and check that out for yourself and make sure everything is working fine.
Also, before you launch Pinball Emporium, you want to make sure you have JoytoKey set up. And once again, Nate Mack has a good video on setting up JoytoKey. Now, if you have the original control panel for your pinball machine and you run through Pinball Emporium, you still need to launch JoytoKey, but you won't need to do any configuration. Now, we have the arcade control panel, so we had to do some button mapping to get it set up to our liking.
Yeah, he has a layout for the AtGames Legends Pinball, but like you said, it's for that initial, you know, the I guess control deck or whatever that.
Yeah, that just has like the you know, the little directional pad on it, not the one with the arcade stick and the 6 buttons and the spinner. Right.
So if you have that, you shouldn't have to really make any changes or anything like that. But again, we have that upgraded arcade control panel. So we noticed that the joystick wasn't working, and then I think there's just a couple of things you wanted to change because again, we have more buttons. So we went ahead and we mapped the joystick so that would navigate through the different menu, you know, going through the tables and stuff like that. And then I think we remapped the coin button to be one of those front buttons. And I think I had to remap the nudge. I think the right nudge, that wasn't working. But yeah, so you might have to do some of that. And again, we'll link down below Nate Mack's video, like he walks you through the JoytoKey as well.
So then another issue we ran into was with Pinball FX3. Now we originally, we did the video, we set that up and had cabinet mode running. Now running through this installer, the cabinet mode was gone and we had to re-enter our code. And before I even did that, we launched Pinball FX3 in Steam, and the playfield was kind of in the wrong orientation and it was like only showing a little bit. It was kind of just like moved off to the right. So I went into the video settings and it kind of righted itself before I even did anything. Like the resolution was like 1152 by something crazy like that. But I went into that and it kind of figured itself out, and you know, it was vertical, but I mean, because of the way you have it, it's kind of like you're landscaped this way instead of this way. So got that going, re-entered our cabinet mode, and it went back into the vertical display for the pinball for the main play field and the backglass. So we did that, re-entered cabinet mode, and that looked fine. So we closed Pinball X3 down, closed Steam down, relaunched Pinball Emporium, and then got into our Pinball FX3 tables, and everything was working. We had backglass, we had DMD, very beautiful, but I mean, we did run into that. So if you already have Pinball FX3 set up, you may have to go through a similar process where you need to re-enter your cabinet code and get your display working again from Steam, and close it down and open Pinball Emporium. You should be good.
Yeah, and one other thing is, so when you are launching FX3 tables in Pinball Emporium, obviously it launches Steam and everything for you. So to get back into Pinball Emporium, you're going to have to exit out of Pinball FX3, exit out of Steam, It takes a few seconds. It almost seemed like it wasn't going to switch back, but it does switch back, and then you can get back into Pinball Emporium. So just another tip there as well.
So there's also been a Pinball Emporium Update 11 release, and that has some bug fixes, some layout changes, and the ability to have Zaccaria and pin and vent tables. So you want to look out for that and get that update done after you do the big release 10. So it's you know, just more tables, more pinball. So that's great. So you want to look into that. So like our final thoughts on this. I mean, this was really great, especially if you just want to play. You don't have the time to go through and set up Future Pinball and Visual Pinball. You know, this gets you know, all the animated back glasses. You get the DMD. You get a nice layout, everything up and running, and you have the ability in the future you can add more tables to it as well. And also with the update 11 is that every author of the table, you kind of see who that is, so they can get credit, because these guys work really hard setting up these tables.
It takes a lot of effort
and it takes a lot of effort, so we don't want you know, their work to, you know, to not be to notice. So the update 11 does that, where like the author's table is known. So that's good. So I mean, we really like it, and
yeah, it's been great.
It's more pinball. We finally have a virtual pinball machine up and running.
Yeah.
Lots of tables, and you know, now we just want to play more, find time to play and play more, and it's really good. You know, we're just getting into this virtual pinball world, so I mean, really excited. The tables are great. The AtGames Legend, you know, you get in at a good price point. You know, it's moddable, so we'll be looking for a way to hide our cables, you know, that are connected to the third table, and figuring out a neat way to do that. But for now, we're up and running, and you know, we can play, and you know, it didn't take too much effort, so it's really great.
Yeah, I think so.
So we hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and hope this helps you get, you know, on your way to playing more pinball tables, you know, as quickly as possible. And remember to subscribe, to like the video, and leave comments down below. It helps us a lot, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.